This is the final tutorial where we're going to be covering the wedding sites and the wedding decorations portal. From this screen, if you click on the wedding websites, a pop-up will come up, and in this particular thing there's another drop-down list where you can drop down and have different places that you've searched for wedding items. Now we're going to have some, these are going to be defaults that are in there, but you can add additional ones where you want to look for wedding websites that are related to any topic or item that you want to look for. Now typically a wedding planner would have certain things that they have available where they can suggest things to a wedding couple that might be involved with say for example wedding invitations or other things that they want to offer or speak to you about. So what you would do as a wedding planner, you would create a list of these. If you are an individual and you're doing a wedding and you're doing it all by yourself, then you can create your own list and add to this. And the way you do that is once you, say for example, let's just do as a demonstration, I'll pick one from the list and say invitations at 40% off. And it comes up with the list for that website, and it starts out by giving you the information, and you're adding things in there to their website and working your way through the information that's available. Now, if you want to add more, you click on the link over at the corner, and what you would do is add a record in here, and then create the wedding website name, and then paste the URL in here from the wedding website that you have, and that would be found at the top of your, say for example, if you used Google or whatever, you could use it and copy and paste in the actual URL, for example. And I'll note here, anytime you're using these pop-its like this, you need to put the URL with a header or a prefix of http:// like this. Now in this one, when I click on it, there's a wedding invitations, but it doesn't have anything in it. So when you come in here, you can edit that by putting it up here, and you'll see there's a little bit more information now, and you can see what this is actually for this website. You do not edit in these areas. You can see they're locked, so you don't edit in here. You edit at the top of the screen. Remember now, when you come in here, if you want to add a new website, just go ahead and click Add Record, and it'll add a record in each one of these. And of course, then that'll be available for you to come in and edit when you need to. Let's go back over to the planning and data. Let's go back over there. And you'll see the last thing that we're going to be covering is the wedding decorations. Now, why would we do this? As a planner, as a professional, you as a planner would put together a list or options for each wedding as they come up. But depending upon the location where they're at, say for example, this might be at the Hilton Hotel or the Hyatt from previous weddings or the wedding you're currently working on, you can indicate to a couple when they're getting married what options do they have available for them. And if you have other weddings that were done at those particular locations, you can show them what past weddings were done and what the images and all that looked like. For example, now if I go to the portal, well, before we go there, I'll show you that this is the decorations in the reception area. This is the wedding area. So you might even have multiple different areas that have decorations in them, including where the location is at what reception hall or outside or inside a place, and then the information about that individual thing. This also helps you in the future that, for example, this decoration was for a quantity of 20 tables and the decorations around it. At the Hilton for the reception, and in this case I have 45 tables decorated in the main reception area on the lawn on the east side of the Hilton Hotel. And if you go to the portal, you're going to see a larger size image with all this information and a place to show the order from and who the information about it. So you can add who the contact was that said that and confirmed the actual decorations were going to go in and what the expense and costs and everything were for them. And for example, another one record would be the actual wedding area and how many seats and what the location and everything is like that for them. This is very helpful information to you in the future when you're estimating for planning. You can use the past information And maybe these are seasonal, maybe they're not, so you can put in information about when you ordered it from, it was either summer, spring, or whatever. If it's a busy season for them, say at the Hilton, and it's hard to get in, you may end up by paying a premium, so you want to put the notes in there about that. So this is a great bibliography of information and pictures for each individual wedding decoration. This could include table decorations that are extra, so you can take pictures of the table decorations that were not included in this money, or say, for example, flowers on the main table where all the wedding party is at. So you can break this down as much as you want and add as many pictures. And of course, in the Planning Cost Manager, you can cover all these items by moving the cost directly over to the product Planning Cost Manager for each individual cost, where the wedding party is who's paying for it and who's covering it, or how it's being managed as far as pre-paid or paid at the time of the wedding or after the wedding or whatever. That is the things that you need to do as a planning manager, and also for the individual who is doing this to keep track of your budget, to see if you're on budget or over budget, and how you want to really decorate and what options you have available to you. So let's just jump over in the portal record real quick and look at that. Same information as in the portal record itself. Now this was really a low quality image, and I just pulled it off of Google Images. So it doesn't really have the close-up and quality that you would probably want if you were actually shooting the pictures yourself as the wedding planner. But this would give you the option to be able to see this. Now, interestingly enough, if you click on this, there is a thing to up on the iPad and so forth to move the image up in size or down in size. In this case, if the image was larger, it would cover more of the area on the screen. This was a fairly small image, and it has a little bit more clarity. And you can see what happens is when I actually, let's go over and do done, when I actually put it in here, the picture, the actual picture that was put in was probably very small, maybe this big. And when it was blown up, it actually lost resolution. And that's something you need to be concerned about as a planner or as a photographer, depending on who's doing it, how the images are going to be seen as they are used in the actual application when they're done. Now, obviously, these things can be taken by your iPad camera or iPhone camera, and then when you put them in there, you can replace them from pictures that are stored within those two devices to add them directly into here. So it saves you a lot of effort as far as transferring pictures and so forth. Now, obviously, if you had a wedding photographer, that would be something maybe you wanted to get some wedding photographer pictures, and that is how you manage your planning and keeping track of the photographer that you're having do the images for your side of the business as far as marketing, how you're doing your wedding planning and using those images for the different weddings. Okay, with that said, this pretty well covers the application. If you have questions about the application, and one of the principal ones is that a lot of times what happens is people want to add something to the particular application as a wedding planner that is not already included in the application. If you're going to do that, contact us at the developer's website, clicking here, and either start a chat or request us to call you back or contact you. And what we will do is we'll provide you the information to add that particular option to your wedding application. Now, what's kind of interesting, some of the things you can do is you can put this up on the cloud. Now, what that really means is that you can make this a cloud-based application so that when you're using it, you can use your iPad or your iPhone, but have it up on the cloud. And this option allows you to do one additional thing. If you create a set of user access, like username and password, you can allow the principal person, the groom and wedding, and the bride to access that site and use the information or add information online that will come to you in your application. Now, the only downside of that is that if they're in the application, they're not restricted to just one wedding. They can see all the information for all the weddings. So you have to be aware of that. But nevertheless, if you put it up on the cloud, you have to have a device that will allow you to either have Wi-Fi or a internet connection, say like a iPad with internet connection capability, or an iPhone that obviously would have a internet connection capability, and you would use this on a browser within your iPhone or iPad that has a connection to the internet. And that can be done. The only thing you're going to sacrifice there is if you get in an area where you do not have either phone reception or a Wi-Fi, which most hotels and reception areas do have that, and you can pre-test that before you actually go out to a wedding, then you would need to know that you would have to have a situation. It depends on how rural or a big city you're actually using this in and how much support you have for using cell phones or cell phone on a wedding option that you might want to use as far as at whatever locations you're at. Now, Wi-Fi is obviously a little bit more difficult to support unless it's actually wired into the location where you're going to do the wedding or wedding planning. Once again, we will try to support you and give you any information that you request. Support is always free if it's related to the application, and we'll try to give you our support as to what options are available. So contact us through the developer's website. Thank you.